Imagine waking up to sirens blaring at dawn. SWAT teams storming your yard with guns drawn. All because you dared to plant tomatoes in your own backyard. That's exactly what happened to Elena Vasquez, a quiet widow who just wanted a little garden to honor her late husband's memory. But in the picture-perfect suburb of Oak Ridge Meadows, where every lawn must be identical or else, Elena had unwittingly declared war on the queen of petty rules, HOA President Linda Hargrove, a woman who turned community standards into a weapon of mass annoyance. Elena Vasquez, 48, had moved to Oak Ridge Meadows after her husband, a dedicated schoolteacher, passed away from a sudden heart attack 2 years earlier. She'd sold their bustling city apartment in Boston for this $420,000 split-level home on a quiet cul-de-sac, drawn by the promise of space to breathe and a backyard big enough for the vegetable garden Miguel had always dreamed of but never got around to building. Elena wasn't flashy. She kept to herself, waving politely at neighbors while tending to her modest flower beds. Rumors swirled about her from day one. Whispers that she was shady because she worked remotely as a freelance journalist, investigating corporate scandals. Probably digging up dirt on all of us, one neighbor muttered at a block party she skipped. Elena heard the gossip through the grapevine but shrugged it off, focusing instead on her new life. The garden started small, a raised bed for heirloom tomatoes, some basil, and zucchini, all tucked neatly against the back fence. She checked the HOA covenants. Nothing explicitly banned vegetable gardens, as long as they weren't unsightly. County permits? Not needed for something this minor. The first sprouts poked through the soil like tiny green miracles, and for the first time since Miguel's death, Elena felt a spark of joy watching them grow under the morning sun. But joy in Oak Ridge Meadows was apparently a limited resource, doled out only with Linda Hargrove's approval. Linda, 55, had reigned as HOA president for 7 years. Her $650,000 colonial-style home, a shrine to perfection with hedges trimmed to geometric precision and a driveway that gleamed like it had been waxed daily. She patrolled the neighborhood in her silver Lexus, armed with a laser measurer and a stack of violation forms, preaching about upholding property values, while fining folks for offenses like leaving holiday lights up one day past New Year's. In the last 3 years, she'd driven out 5 families, one for a garish pink mailbox, another for parking a boat trailer in their garage, visible from certain angles, she claimed. Neighbors called her the enforcer behind her back, but to her face, they smiled through gritted teeth, fearing her wrath. Linda's board meetings were legendary for their absurdity, debates over approved shades of mulch that dragged on for hours. "We must maintain harmony," she'd say in her saccharine voice, all while manipulating votes through her hand-picked cronies. The trouble brewed on a crisp Saturday morning when Elena was knee-deep in mulch, the earthy scent mixing with birdsong. She heard the clip-clop of heels before she saw the intruder. Linda, striding across her lawn like she owned it, sunglasses perched on her nose, a floral scarf fluttering dramatically. "What on earth is this eyesore?" Linda demanded, gesturing at the garden bed as if it were a pile of toxic waste. Elena wiped her hands on her jeans, standing up slowly. "It's a vegetable garden. For fresh produce." Linda's lips pursed into a thin line. "Vegetables? In a residential zone? This isn't a farm, dear. Our covenants clearly state no agricultural activities that could attract pests or lower aesthetics." Elena blinked, recalling the rules she'd pored over. "But it's just tomatoes." "No one's complained." Linda whipped out her phone, snapping photos with the fervor of a paparazzo. "I'll be the judge of that. Expect a notice by Monday." And remember, standards aren't suggestions, they're sacred. As Linda sauntered away, her heels sinking into the soft grass, Elena felt a twinge of irritation but bit her tongue. She'd dealt with worse in her journalism career, corporate bullies hiding behind legalese. For now, she'd observe, document, and wait. The first violation notice arrived taped to her door like a scarlet letter. $100 fine for unauthorized landscaping alteration. Elena paid it quietly, not wanting to rock the boat. But whispers escalated. At the next-door barbecue she politely attended, a neighbor sidled up. "Heard you're turning your yard into a jungle. Linda's on a warpath about it." Elena smiled faintly. "Just growing some veggies." Inside, she started a journal, noting dates, quotes, and photos of her tidy garden. Linda, sensing no pushback, amped up her campaign. Another notice: excessive plant height violating sightline rules. Elena trimmed the tomatoes, but the rumors flew. "She's probably growing something illegal back there," Linda hinted in the neighborhood Facebook group, under a post about maintaining our pristine community. Elena saw the comments piling up, her name tagged in veiled accusations. She stayed silent online, but her journalist instincts kicked in. She began researching Linda's past, pulling public records late into the night. Turns out, Linda's own backyard boasted an unpermitted gazebo, built years ago without HOA approval. Hypocrisy noted. Tensions simmered as summer hit, Elena's garden yielding plump tomatoes that she shared with a few brave neighbors. Linda called an emergency board meeting, scheduling it for 1 p.m. on a Tuesday, prime time to exclude working folks. In her immaculate living room, surrounded by crystal vases and framed HOA awards, Linda held court. "This garden situation is a slippery slope," she declared, her voice laced with faux concern. "First vegetables, next chickens? We must amend the rules immediately." Her cronies nodded like bobbleheads. Gladys, the retired accountant who owed Linda for a favor, and Harold, the yes-man realtor. They voted to redefine landscaping to require pre-approval for any edible plants over 6 inches. Retroactive, of course. "For the greater good," Linda beamed. Elena got wind of it through a sympathetic neighbor and showed up uninvited, folder in hand. As Linda droned on about community integrity, Elena interjected calmly. "According to state law, Section 38-12-105, rule changes need 45 days notice and can't apply retroactively to existing projects." The room froze. Linda's smile faltered. "Well, this is about spirit, not semantics." Elena held her ground. "The law protects against exactly this arbitrary power plays." Harold fidgeted. "Is that true?" Linda snapped. "Technicalities, but mark my words, you'll regret challenging the order here." As she stormed off, her scarf trailing like a defeated flag, 3 neighbors trailed Elena outside. Maria Lopez, a single mom, confessed. "She fined me $300 for my kid's trampoline. Said it was a liability eyesore. Old Mr. Jenkins added, made me remove my bird feeder because seeds attract vermin. And young couple the Patels, our solar panels? Denied for aesthetic mismatch." Elena listened, her resolve hardening. "Let's start documenting everything." The alliance formed in whispers, united by Linda's overreach. Linda didn't take defeat gracefully. She escalated like a bad sequel nobody asked for. Violation notices flooded Elena's mailbox, garden odors constituting nuisance. From basil. Unauthorized soil disturbance. She called code enforcement twice, claiming Elena's plot was a health hazard. Inspectors arrived, eyed the thriving veggies, and left chuckling. "Lady, this is the cleanest hazard I've seen," one said. Noise complaints followed. Elena's watering hose at 8 a.m. was disruptive. Police rolled up so often. One officer quipped, "Should I bring coffee next time?" Linda's crowning pettiness. Animal control for potential wildlife attraction. The inspector found nothing but admired the zucchini. "Whoever reported this needs a hobby," he muttered. Elena endured it all silently, but behind closed doors. Her case file grew, timestamps, recordings, legal in their state, and neighbor testimonies. Then, the counterpunch. Elena's research revealed Linda's gazebo wasn't just unpermitted. It encroached on a utility easement, blocking access. Her prized rose bushes, planted over a fire lane marker. And public records showed Linda's real estate side gig had complaints for inflating home values. When Linda next appeared for an inspection, clipboard poised like a sword, Elena greeted her sweetly. "While you're here, check this out." She handed over photos. "Your gazebo's in violation. Roses blocking emergency paths? TSK, TSK." Linda blustered. "This is retaliation." Elena smiled. "No, it's equality. HOAs can't selectively enforce, state doctrine says so. Enforce all or none." Linda's face cycled through fury shades, her perfume clashing with the garden's fresh scent. Trapped, she slapped a $150 daily fine and demolition order for the garden. "You'll pay, or lose your home." Elena nodded. "Court it is." The lawsuit hit like a plot twist. Linda sued Elena for $40,000 in damages to community appeal, claiming the garden tanked property values. Audaciously, she scored a temporary injunction. Garden maintenance halted, plants wilting under neglect while Linda bragged to allies. Told her she'd learn her place. Neighbors buzzed. Whispers turned to questions about Elena's mysterious background. "Heard she's a muckraker, probably stirring trouble," Linda posted online. But Elena dug deeper at night, uncovering gold. The 1992 original HOA charter allowed personal gardens for sustenance. Linda's amendments contradicted it outright. "Can't override founding docs," Elena noted. Retaliation boomeranged. Linda cited allies for minor infractions to intimidate, but it fueled more defections. Court day packed the gallery. Linda arrived with a slick lawyer. Charts on aesthetic degradation. Elena, solo with her folder, stood tall. Her response, methodical dismantling, original covenants, selective enforcement proof, Linda's own violations. The judge's gavel fell, case dismissed, injunction lifted. "This reeks of abuse," he scolded. Linda fumed, but the tide turned. Petitions circulated, demanding her ouster. Desperation bred stupidity. Linda launched a smear campaign. Anonymous online accounts blasting Elena as a disruptive outsider, with her telltale quotation marks around journalist. Facebook wars raged. Linda's rants versus facts from Elena's supporters. Financial cracks showed. Linda owed contractors $12,000 for her gazebo, taxes delinquent. Then, her bribe attempt, Friday dusk, she knocked, all honeyed smiles. "Elena, darling, let's collaborate. A board spot could suit you, your skills might help." Elena's tone iced. "Bribing someone? Bold." Linda backpedaled. "Just teamwork. Leave." The weekend barbecue at Maria's exploded into a rally. 25 families sharing horrors. Linda crashed it, lawyer in tow. Screeching conspiracy. Her meltdown, caught on camera. I'll ruin you all. Lawyer fled. By Monday, he quit. Linda doubled down. Complaints to Elena's editor about ethics. Then to the Attorney General on abuse of press freedom. Irony peaked. But her finale? 5:32 a.m. Elena watering wilted plants, sirens wailed. SWAT swarmed. Armed threat reported. Elena complied calmly. I'm Elena Vasquez. Unarmed. The lead officer paused. The journalist? We got a tip about weapons and threats. Elena almost smirked. Anonymous. Right? Traced back. Linda's burner phone. Bought sloppily on credit. News exploded. HOA boss swats gardener. Backfires spectacularly. Linda's on-camera rant. I'm protecting us from chaos. Went viral. Her shrieks meme fodder. Justice avalanched. False report charges. HOA funds probe. $18,000 missing. Padded expenses to Linda's biz. License suspended for fraud. 42 homeowners petitioned her removal. Allies abandoned ship. Elena's garden revived. Featured in a local mag as the plot that planted rebellion. The emergency HOA meeting. Overflowing chaos. Evidence slideshow of Linda's sins. Her final tantrum. This is tyranny. Elena's mic drop. Linda, you swat me for watering plants. Who's the real threat? Applause thundered. State revoked HOA status for irregularities. Linda pled guilty. 150 community service hours. Irony. Weeding public parks. $4,000 fine. House sold. Fled to a call center job. 6 months on. Elena thrived. Garden bountiful. Community garden launched. Scholarship fund from her stories buzz for aspiring journalists. Annual harvest fest in her yard united neighbors. A letter from Linda's new town's HOA. Warnings of her complaints. Elena chuckled. Some never change. But tell me, was Linda the villain protecting order? Or just a bully in pearls? Who's really destroying communities? Rule breakers or rule makers gone mad? Drop your thoughts below, right or wrong.